Oi, there you are, mate. It's another Tuesday, innit? Please don't mind me. I was just listening to Boris Johnson lo-fi beats to get the Brexit done too, and dreaming of a better future for all of UK. I know this has to be one of the worst British impressions ever, but please bear with me. It's 2016, mate, and I'm bloody sure once we get this bloody Brexit thing done, we'll be surely living in a paradise. Alright, that's enough for today, because I really don't want to get stabbed on my next visit to London. Setting the jokes and humor aside, today we will be discussing two things. First, Brexit and its economic aftermath. Second, which I think is the most interesting part, how British public's perception towards Brexit did a complete 180 in the recent years. When the vote for the UK to leave the European Union happened, many were promised economic freedom. They were told that leaving the European Union would mean more money for public services, less regulation overall, and the ability to strike global trade deals. But after leaving the EU officially in 2020, what is the reality now? Well, since Brexit, the UK's economy has been on a downtrend. According to estimates, Brexit is costing the UK economy £100 billion a year. That is about 4% of the country's GDP. To put that into perspective, it's as if the economy shrank by an entire Northern Ireland. Economists have pointed out the UK is the only G7 nation whose economy is still smaller today than it was pre-2020. Of course, a worldwide crisis in 2020 definitely played a part in UK struggles, but seeing all the other G7 nations recovering in a much better way really goes to show how tough of a spot Brexit left the UK in. It's not just the raw GDP figure that's looking bad. There is also trade. The initial idea with Brexit was that Britain would be free to make trade deals around the world. But what has happened in reality doesn't look good at all. UK exports to the EU dropped by a staggering 14% in 2021 alone. Imports from the EU also fell by over 25%. This trade loss hit businesses hard, especially small and medium-sized enterprises, which are the backbone of the UK economy. They have been burdened with new customs checks, paperwork, and costs that have never existed before. Now, let's talk about something that hits everyone. The cost of living. While not the sole reason, Brexit has contributed to rising inflation, with one study showing that food prices alone have increased by an average of 6% as a direct result of Brexit. When you add that to broader inflationary pressures, many British households are now spending so much more money for everyday essentials. I just find it very interesting how people who are for Brexit are overemphasizing the trade deals the UK has signed post-Brexit, such as the one with Australia. Australia accounts for a very tiny portion of trade for the UK. The total trade between the UK and Australia was only £20 billion in 2023, whereas the total trade for the UK with the European Union added up to more than £800 billion. So, however you look at Brexit, I don't think you can come up with any significant positive economic outcome. While there were promises of economic independence and trade freedom, the reality has been a decline in trade, investment, and overall growth. We can go on and on about all the little and big things that went wrong ever since Brexit, but I won't do that, at least not this time. From the outside looking in, this situation the UK has found itself in really looks terrible. And I think it only makes sense that the British public regret their decision more and more as time goes on. Perhaps even more significant than the economic fallout, the shift in public opinion is massive. In 2016, 52% chose to leave the European Union, and a recent poll revealed that 57% of the British public now believe that Brexit was a mistake. 52% to 57% may not seem like a big shift, but when you consider 13% just say that they don't have an opinion, and only 31% believe that they were right to leave, it really is clear as day how big of a mood shift the whole country went through in the recent years after Brexit. It is very unfortunate, but the promise of better public services and a stronger economy overall have largely not materialized. And instead, the UK is left with higher cost of living, fewer job opportunities, and diminished global influence. The mood change isn't just about regret. It is also about anger. Many people feel deceived by the political rhetoric surrounding Brexit. A truly staggering 63% now say they have little to no confidence in the UK government's handling of Brexit. There was this infamous claim that leaving the European Union would free up £350 million a week for the NHS, also known as the National Health Service. Well, that has been widely debunked. Instead, NHS funding remains a crisis, with healthcare services buckling under the pressure of rising costs. When we do an overview of the whole aftermath of Brexit, the economic damage is clear, and the public opinion has shifted. Yet, I don't think there's an easy way back from this. Rejoining the European Union, while theoretically possible, is kind of unrealistic, at least in the short term. term. The UK has set itself on a path that appears to be irreversible. But one thing is for sure, the British public is rethinking Brexit, especially the younger population. As more people feel the personal impact of leaving the European Union, from higher cost of living to fewer opportunities, the conversation around Brexit continues to evolve. At the end of the day, with the power of hindsight, it is so clear that the promise of Brexit and the reality of Brexit are two very different things. So, that is it for today. And I know this is a very controversial topic, and by making a video about it, I'm basically asking for people to fight with me and with each other in the comment section, but I feel like some friendly banter can't hurt anyone, can it? Anyway, take care, and I hope to see you next time.